This evening, let's explore the Three Circles meditation, your path to wisdom. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. Brought to you by the kind-hearted folks who help support this channel on Patreon. This evening, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as profoundly as Qui-Gon Jinn on Naboo, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news. If at any point during this evening's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. Let us continue exploring the Heart Sutra. We come to deconstructing the three circles of experience. Now, this is of course in three sets. And the first set is what are we observing? The second is how are we observing? And the third is whoops, that's weird. Huh. That is so weird, dude. Okay, let's go over here and try that bad boy again. So what observing, how observing, and just straight observing. I know that's kind of weird, but let's hit it. So this would deal with the objects of perception, which would be sensations, flavors, scents, sounds, sights, and phenomena. Or in other words, within the context of the Heart Sutra, no sensation, no flavor, no scent, no sound, no sight, no phenomena that once perceived cannot be released. This is a really, really ungainly sentence structure. But it's trying to drive home the point that whatever we perceive, we can release by using the type of meditation that is in harmony with the inner workings of our autonomic nervous system. We'll get to that in just a few minutes, the particulars. Right now we're just doing a rough thumbnail sketch. So how do we observe sensations, flavors, scents, sounds, sights, and phenomena? Why? With our body, tongue, nose, ears, eyes, and mind, of course. And once again, anything we perceive, including our organs of perception, can be released. And then we come to the marriage of object of perception and organ of perception gives us the mental experience of feeling, tasting, smelling, hearing, seeing, and noticing. And once again, there's none of those that, once perceived, cannot be released when one meditates in an effective manner. And by the way, it doesn't take lifetimes or aeons to do this. You can master the Buddhist path, really master it, just hanging out with me once every 12 hours in less than 7 months. Totally easy. Someone tells you it takes longer, they're mistaken. Or they're trying to sell you something. So we've just explored these three sets of 6. And now we're going to put it all together. So there's a way of playing with these that we can meditate. We can do 18 meditations if you wanted to. Actually, these are contemplations because we're choosing our object. But still, it could be sensation, relaxing. You can do that 3 or 4 times. Then this body, relaxing, because that's how we perceive sensations. And then this feeling, because that's our mind getting involved, relaxing. And we can work our way through the whole 18. And do you have to? No. But if you wanted to, you could. So I think, yes, the most important thing. So this can be practiced in one of 2 ways. We can practice it like a control freak, or we can practice it spontaneously. And that's what we'll explore in just a few minutes. But before we do that, I'd like to spend 3 or 4 minutes chanting with you. And what I'd like to chant is an English translation of arguably the oldest Dzogchen text. Please chant with me. Some meditators strive to put their minds into a thought-free state, mistakenly thinking this gives them access to something subtle. They isolate themselves in lonely places. Examine closely, this folly seems to be a form of conceptual meditation. Thinking in terms of causes and reasons, such seekers strive in vain to transcend this world. They reject the bad and accept the good, although non-dual wisdom already transcends dualities like bad and good. Let's hit this bad boy. Clinging and indifference or concepts so to echo like in their non-graspability as anything in between. Joy and sorrow arise from the same source, so declares Vajrasattva, refuge of all. Where else could aversion, attachment, and anger arise, except from the clear luminous energy of the mind? Objects of pleasure are also just this, formulations of the energy of the clear light of wisdom. As promised, let us return now to the practice of mindfulness and meditation, which are known by many names, including Zen, Chan, Dhyana, Mahamudra, Mahasandhi, Ati Yoga, Dzogchen, and Trekcho. Despite the fanciness and exoticness of their names, it's super, super easy. What's the key to mindfulness? During each inhalation, we could silently and mentally... Well, let's try this a different way. Here's the key to mindfulness. During each inhalation, simply allow yourself to notice the play of awareness. What does that mean? In any given moment, well, the first thing is, awareness is not concentration, which is active. Awareness is vulnerable, passive, visceral, and random. At any given moment, we could notice sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, or scents, and the like, including emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and fantasies. The key to meditation is to use our exhalations to relax into the non-graspable nature of all that we noticed during the previous inhalation. It's just that simple. And because we're already wired to notice thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, and we're already wired to relax in harmony with our exhalation due to our parasympathetic nervous system, we do not need to force anything. Now, there'll be some times when it's just smooth sailing, and it's like riding a bike downhill with no intersections, and it's totally safe. Wind's in your hair, and you've got music on your earbuds, and everything's hunky-dory. But there's other times, as we sit in meditation, where something comes up, not just subtly, but dramatically. And it's difficult. Life's full of difficulties. What do we do when a difficulty grabs us by the lapel and shakes us like a French au pair? We then bring that experience into the exercise. So for instance, during our inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, notice sights. Or notice feels, or notice sense. Or we could, the word notice plus something inside these two brackets gives us 3 syllables. Or we could just use these standalone words. Emotion, emptiness. Or memory, emptiness. Now, I'll give you a tangible example. The last night, I was watching a show, and they made a joke on the show about how stupid someone is if they don't understand advanced Algebra 2 or Intro to Trig. And it really was triggering for me, because as someone raised with a lot of brain damage and a lot of ambition, despite how hard I worked, I couldn't get ahead in school because my memory kept resetting. And I didn't have that verbiage back then. And I had teachers scream at me in a class full of my peers, telling me that, damn, the last teacher who passed me to hell, I must be stupid, Hitler's only mistake was that he didn't kill all the Jews. Thank you very much. So I really, in my enthusiasm to excel, the intersection of my enthusiasm to excel and my inability to excel basically gave teachers strokes. And then when I'd get home, my parents would just flippantly say, well, I guess you're not trying hard enough. Are you kidding? I was coming to school early to get help. I was staying at school late to get help. I was burning the midnight oil. I was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. my life was just devoted to hacking my brain in an effort to do well. And meanwhile, my highly gifted sister could do homework for 90 minutes and get straight A's. And all the while, I was really just being tormented by lazy-minded, cruel people. And so that all came up, and it was really, really difficult. And so I'm sitting there in meditation with just a cavalcade of turmoil. Like that one Alfred Hitchcock movie with the carousel was going faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, and an old guy has to crawl under it to reach the turn-off lever. That's what my mind was like. So as I sat there, when a memory would come up, it was emotion, emptiness. When I would start thinking about what I should have said to that person, it was cognition, emptiness. I wasn't trying to stop it. I was just labeling and releasing. That's it. Sometimes it would be memory, emptiness. Other times it would settle down and just be awareness, emptiness. Other times it would pick back up again. And it would be notice sights, awareness. There's a famous, what's it called? There's a very popular science educator who says there's no such thing as the inability to do high-level math. There's just laziness. And that kills me when he says that. And so as I'm sitting there in meditation, occasionally, a recollection of a snippet of a video of him saying that would dance across the stage of my mind. And I'd go back to notice sights, emptiness, or notice sounds, emptiness. And basically, I just let whatever come up dictate what I was doing during my inhalation. But here's the funny thing. It could be argued that no traumatic trigger, no flashback lasts forever, and eventually it comes back down. And in an interdependent, impermanent universe, that makes perfect sense. But because I was fortunate to receive these tools, not only was I able to endure the triggering event without experiencing an autistic meltdown, I was able to actively benefit from it, because when difficult things come up during meditation, if we handle it skillfully, not only does it reduce the stress, it increases our wisdom. And that's huge. Since I've been on this meditative path, my ADHD has not gone away. My autism has not gone away. My myalgic encephalomyelitis has not gone away. My, what's it called? Dysautonomia has not gone away. But because of this, the power of these techniques, these things beat me up less and less and less. And the number of meltdowns I have has reduced dramatically, because this stuff works. Once again, brain damage is the gift that keeps on giving. It doesn't go away. Trauma is the gift that keeps on giving. It does not reverse. There is no factory, there's no button. You can tap your nose all you want. It's not going to reset my central nervous system to factory settings. It's not going to happen. But this stuff can help you cope with trauma, with neurological challenges, and to reference William Shakespeare, this stuff can help you cope with the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. It won't necessarily stop fools from doing foolish things or villains from doing villainous things, but it will help us not to become a villain in the process, which is a good thing. If you've just joined me, welcome aboard. When you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. Let's meditate. There are trolls out there who are eager to gaslight us, who will minimize, justify, rationalize, and fatalize what we call traumas. But trauma is not what other people say it is or isn't. Trauma is anything. Any experience that is not processed properly by our hippocampus into long-term memory. And therefore is experienced as occurring right here and right now, regardless of how many years ago, neurologically, until our hippocampus processes it, it's in the present moment. That's trauma, and it alters our central nervous system. Don't waste your breath with trolls. They don't care what the truth is. They just like demeaning others. But know for your own peace of mind that the recognition of trauma does not make you weak. It makes you fortunate enough to know that there are metaphoric ninjas in your life, and how you can apparel known is quite often a peril avoided. The word emptiness is just a metaphor we use for non-graspability. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our inhalation could feel as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could be tantalizing to the eye, is intangible to the hand. a great way to sidestep duality is to label generically. So instead of saying that's pleasurable and that's painful, we'll just say, well, that's a sensation and that's a sensation. And for some reason, it helps us to let go even easier. Now, if any of this is difficult for you to read, let me know, and I'll do my best to adjust the font. I'm very glad you had the opportunity to join in tonight's lesson and meditation. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 11 hours, I look forward to returning to lead tomorrow's early morning lesson and meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.